Zach Gelb hosts evenings nationally on the CBS Sports Radio Network, and the NFL season is one night away. And Gelb is in the where are you? The WFAN studios, New York, right now.
Yeah, that'd be right. Thanks for having me, Mr. Inside the NFL, and then also the LeBron James of Miami Sports Radio. So look at you two guys now.
Well, the feeling is moochy. Zach Gelb.
Solana's like Beasley, if we're looking at the comparisons there.
So the NFL starts tomorrow, and then the Dolphins open Sunday against the Chargers in LA. So I'm going to go Dolphins here off the bat. Do you think the Dolphins go in Sunday? They're a 3-point underdog. Do you think they can go in Sunday, upset Justin Herbert and the Chargers?
I wouldn't view it really as an upset. I know what it will look like in the gambling world, but I think these two teams are really splitting hairs. And that's kind of the way that I look at a lot of these teams in the AFC. And then more importantly, inside their own division, the AFC East. I'm actually picking the Dolphins to win the AFC East because everyone else is going to go with the Jets or the Bills. And I really don't see a major difference between those three teams. So this is a game they could absolutely win up against the Chargers, but how about the speed and the receivers in this game on both sides? And I'm a big fan of Quentin Johnston coming out of TCU, who's going to make his debut for the Chargers. So I would probably say bet the over, but then whenever you have that feeling to do that going into a game, it will end up being like a 14-13 boring ass football game.
And Zach, that's the thing, because the Dolphins start with they got Chargers, they go Patriots, then Broncos, and then Bills, then Giants, who I believe the Giants are going to be one of those NFC sneak up teams, seeing all the things they added. Do you think McDaniels is a coach that now it's his second year? If you're a good coach, your second year with your starting quarterback, you should come out the gate firing. You should have everything. You should have all your weapons. You should have everything going, all bullets and guns. Do you think the Dolphins, you just said take the over, do you think the Dolphins come out and start scoring these 30, 40 points a game?
Yeah, so Mike McDaniel to me is an acquired taste. I have still not acquired the taste of Mike McDaniel, but I do have to acknowledge the guy had a sensational season a year ago and almost won a playoff game with Skylar Thompson as his quarterback. And I know that the offensive line's a bit shaky and you have the Jalen Ramsey injury, but right now you have Tua Tagovailoa healthy. You have Tyreek Hill, who keeps on saying he's going to be a 2,000-yard wide receiver, which he won't be. He'll be close, but he won't be 2,000 yards. And then you got Jalen Waddle, who's just a flat-out stud and would be a number one wide receiver on like every other team in the NFL. So with those three, there should be no rust, and they should be able to put up points. And now we got to see with the new defensive coordinator and well-respected Vic Fangio if that defense could just play more consistently, because there are some names on that Dolphins defense that you do like, and they got to take a step in the right direction this year.
Speaking of that defense, we were talking yesterday about Jalen Phillips, and then we were just
I love him. He is great.
Crowder thinks he is on the cusp of a giant season.
Zach, I met him as a rookie. I went to his charity event as a rookie, which is crazy that he's having a charity event as a rookie. It just shows you about his personality and who he is as a man. And I just saw him last week. He put on 10 pounds of pure damn muscle. I hugged him twice, and it was uncomfortable the second time because there was no reason for me to hug him. I just wanted to touch his back again.
That sounds pretty nice of you. You know, just give him a nice little back rub. I'm sure he appreciated that. Maybe he had an itch on the right side, and he said go a little bit lower. But last year when we looked at Hassan Reddick was the guy for the Eagles. I know that he ended up having 3 straight double-digit sack seasons when you go from the Cardinals to the Panthers to the Eagles. But he was a late bloomer in the NFL because the Cardinals didn't use him right. And he had a dominant season. I could see Jalen Phillips this year having a Hassan Reddick type of season that he did have a year ago, where he starts to get that respect nationally and people realize how great of a football player he could be.
We were talking about, I mean, this could create problems down the road for the Dolphins if you look at Nick Bosa's new contract, which was just
crazy
about an hour ago. But Christian Wilkins wants a new deal. And Jalen Phillips, if he has the season that people expect, but they have, forgetting what might happen in the future with contracts, they have arguably the best receiver tandem in the NFL, Waddle and Hill. And just the defensive guys that we're mentioning, we haven't even talked about Bradley Chubb or Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey when he gets back. Like, they're kind of stacked on both sides of the ball.
They are. And you look at the Jets, I could say the same things on both sides of the ball. When Von Miller comes back for the Bills, you could say the same thing about the Buffalo Bills, but this should be a high-octane offense, and the defense needs to be top 10, and this defense needs to find a way to be more consistent. And if they could do that, they have everything right in front of them. And especially with the uncertainty, and I know Dolphins fans are probably tired of talking about the health of Tua Tagovailoa, but with the uncertainty at the quarterback position, with the weapons that they have right now, the window is now to win for the Miami Dolphins. You have a 2 to 3 year window. And if Tua, as much as I'm rooting for him this year, if he can't stay healthy, you got to move on because you have the weapons in place and they're all under one roof right now.
And talking about the Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa deal and talking about Christian Wilkins, I just looked it up. Aaron Donald is the highest paid defensive tackle at 31. Quentin Williams, who is a monster with the Jets, 25. What was it? 4 for 96. Is Christian Wilkins that guy? Is Christian Wilkins about to get $25+ million a year?
He's an athletic freak, and you know it and I know it. He's definitely bare minimum in the conversation of being really good, and I do think he could be great. But how many times in this sport, when you look at a position like the quarterback, do these good quarterbacks reset the entire market? So since he's already in that really good conversation, he'll end up getting one of these crazy contracts. I don't know if it will be to what Bosa just got today, because that was at a level of ridiculousness. But if he plays to a high level this year, Christian Wilkins, which he's definitely capable of, we remember when he was at Clemson and the splits and all the athleticism, he's one of those freaks. Yeah, he's going to be walking away with not just the bag, but like multiple bags of cash.
Zach Gelb on the CBS Sports Radio Network every night. The season opens tomorrow. Kansas City hosts the Lions. We were talking about this. So I like the Lions. I don't know why. Gambling-wise, Lions are getting 4.5 points at KC tomorrow night. I think it was 5 points.
It was actually 6 because I'm on the Lions +6. But
was it 6? So you like the Lions as well? Do you like them at 4.5?
That's a low. It's like a 2-point swing. It makes me feel uncomfortable because it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's weird. I like the Lions in the game tomorrow night, but on the season, I actually don't have the Lions making the playoffs. I like the Vikings still to win that NFC North. And then I was looking at the final wild card spot. I believe I'm going to go with the Commanders over the Lions.
And you have the Dolphins winning the AFC East, you said, right?
Yes, I do have the Dolphins winning the AFC East. In the AFC East,
where do you think they go in the playoffs? Is this we've talked about it before on paper, and we just mentioned some of the players on both sides. On paper, I think they're an elite NFL team. Elite.
On paper, they are. I would still trust in a big game the Chiefs. I would still trust in the big game the Cincinnati Bengals. But then after that, everyone's vying for that third spot. Like, you could give the Bills the benefit of the doubt, but it's Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. They got to be on the same page. Will Von Miller be able to be healthy? Because when Von Miller was on the field last year and he came off that edge and forced Patrick Mahomes to throw an interception, they went to Kansas City and won that football game. And then when he got hurt, I know there was other factors too in the Bills' demise last year, but when he got hurt, that's when you really started to see that team not be as elite as we thought they could be.
And back to Kansas City, Zach, something that Solana Hawk and myself were talking about earlier. I believe if Travis Kelce is not, like, knock on all the wood in the world, I hope he's not hurt bad. If he doesn't play, it changes the outcome of the NFL season. 152 targets last year. He's Patrick Mahomes' #1 receiver. Solana's arguing for some damn boy named Sky Moore and Valdez Scantling and Kadarius Toney. If Travis Kelce is not playing, that changes the outcome of NFL season.
So, yes, you would think that from afar, but let me just remind everybody, if we're going to throw Mahomes in that conversation of one day he could be the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady has won a Super Bowl when he had Rob Gronkowski and then lost him for a season. People forget that in that Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl. I know he had 3 others before Gronk was ever in the league, but the Chiefs could still win because Mahomes is a cheat code. And how many times have we seen them down 14 points or down 24 in a playoff game? And I know at times he's had Tyreek Hill and he's had Travis Kelce, but that dude is just one of one. And I'm not going to say that he can't do anything, but it would be an enormous loss if Kelce if this is a lingering issue and he can't be back for the postseason. Plus, you also have Chris Jones, who may not get in until week 8. His price just went even up after the whole Bosa deal, and they're not close to a contract. And also, let's remember, even if Chris Jones says he comes in week 8, Channing, you know this. You could be there as a player, but if you're not mentally there, then I don't know if we're going to get the best version of Chris Jones.
Now, Zach Gelb lives in New York, which means you walk by pizza parlors wherever you're going. Do you ever refer to pizza as za?
No. And if I would, it would be za, not za.
Yeah, za.
Nah,
Za.
no. Pizza. Give me a slice. Let's go. Well done. Make sure the slice is well done.
You don't say to a friend, hey, let's go grab a slice of za.
No, let's go get some pizza.
Let's order in a za.
All right, so I know where this is going. This is a Hochman bit where Hochman wants to try to be cool and all hip now, and he's saying za, where no one actually says za. What, you see that on TikTok?
For years, people have said za.
Stop.
Anyone refers to pizza as za.
Give me a slice. Pizza or slice? That's it.
Slice of za.
No. You can ask it 10,000 different ways. I'm not going to give you a different answer. You want me to be a jerk like Deebo Samuel and hang up the phone on this interview now?
So maybe at times, za.
No, never.
Never. You're speaking as all New Yorkers or just for yourself?
I'll speak for all New Yorkers. If you're saying za, here's when you're potentially saying za. If you had too many trips to the dispensary, let's just say in one day, and then you may be on the couch after devouring everything in sight, and then maybe, just maybe, then you would say, hey, can I get some za, bro?
Oh, wait a second. You're in New York. You want to get like a real genuine slice of Italian za. And so I
gave you glizzy. I said glizzy. I'll call it a glizzy. I'm not going za.
Right. But you go, let's say you're in New York and you want that real slice and you go to Sbarro. You don't ever say, let me get a slice of za.
If I'm going to Sbarro, I'm saying, can I get a slice of crap?
How do you really feel? Well, will you agree with this? The best way to eat a slice of pizza is on a paper plate.
Yeah, I would say that on a paper plate, a slice of pizza goes well with a paper plate.
I don't want to.
Let me guess this. Crowder, with his bougie lifestyle, now that inside the NFL money, probably has to find China out when he eats a slice of za.
Speaking of China, Solana told us that pizza was invented in ancient China, but I think he's retracted that take. Have you retracted that?
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that one right now, Gelb. I'll get back to you, though.
But I don't.
Like I said, that's why I called him Michael Beasley.
But I don't even want to ask him about the square cut because he's from New York, and New Yorkers cut it in the triangles. But in Chicago, where I'm from, tavern cut pizza is in squares, small squares. The best way to eat a pizza is square cut za over the triangles. Would you agree or disagree?
So if I'm getting a regular plain slice triangle, if I'm doing a cheese slice with some sausage on top triangle, but if I'm going with pepperoni, like those little small pepperoni cups, then I enjoy it being a square slice. Buffalo chicken triangle.
Interesting.
But you guys don't really know pizza because the deep dish pizza is more like lasagna than it is pizza.
It's the premier pizza, Chicago-style pizza. I've done the rankings before. Chicago-style pizza is the best kind of za that you can have. Detroit-style za is
very good.
Probably second. And then, roller rink pizza. And then
have you had Long Island pizza?
Well, have you had Long Island pizza? What's the difference between Long Island?
I don't know what's in the water in Long Island, and that's where I'm from, but I think the Long Island pizza is better than New York City pizza, and sometimes you get a little too much tourist pizza. Just get people in to go get a New York slice. They make better pizza on Long Island. That would be my breakdown for you.
Solana went to
this water.
Solana, I know all the Northeasterners. It's always the water. Everybody's
well. So does Channing. So does I have.
The water here in Far Rockaway. It cleans the clothes a little softer. It makes the bagels a little more tender. It makes the za tastier. You got to have the water from Far Rockaway.
All I'm going to say is when Channing Crowder was with the Jets and the Giants over the last month or so, or auditioning for Inside the NFL. Sources inside that building said he had a sip of water. He said that was some high-quality H2O. That's what I was told.
You got plugs at NFL
Yeah.
Films?
Mm-hmm. I knew you were interviewing for the job before they even announced it.
I know Channing Crowder, and if he's sipping on anything, it ain't water. So
Exactly.
already I can throw water on
I
that.
actually
story.
called up Channing's boss and said, you guys could pay me a quarter of what he's making, and I'll do it.
The problem is, then Crowder would come back with, I'll take a quarter of the quarter that he's taking. Crowder ain't going to lose a job over money.
And I haven't drank a bottle of water in 21 years.
You know what's funny is that the Dolphins asked you to renegotiate your contract. That's the one time in your life that you took a stand and you walked away from millions.
No, they already my money was guaranteed.
Well, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, obviously not.
No, they paid me not to play that last year.
But didn't they ask you to renegotiate?
Yes, and they wanted more money for the cap. And I was like, no, my money's guaranteed. It was after the lockout. And whenever you're going into a lockout year, you put some money back in the back end of your contract and don't front load it. So you know how my mind works. You have to give me money, but you want to give me less? No, I'm taking the money you owe me, bastards.
Who was the GM at the time? It wasn't when Parcells was there, right?
It was Jeff Ireland.
It was Big Damn Dummy. What's his name?
Oh, Jeff Ireland?
Jeff Ireland, yeah. And we didn't talk to each other for 2 years.
Well, at least he didn't get personal with you. Like, didn't he ask someone if their mother was a prostitute or something like that
Des
once?
Bryant. Oh,
yeah.
Dude has no personality. He's silly. He used to fine me $5,000 and $7,000 just when he rolled out the bed. I got fined I think it was $7,500 because somebody cussed me out in Cincinnati, and I turned and pointed at his wife and put a phone to my ear and told the dude that cussed at me's wife to call me. $75 fine. I didn't.
Did she call you?
I didn't really want the call, Zach. She
got a slice of za, right?
She was
actually in Cincinnati. They got some Skyline chili.
It wasn't my type.
Gotcha.
Gelb. Listen to him on the CBS Sports Radio Network every night.
I didn't see her at Magic City is what Channing said.
He's going to join us during football season, and we always enjoy talking to you. We'll see you, Zach. All guests on the Hoch and Crowder show get a slice of za at the corner. Just send me a receipt, and I will Venmo you the money back.
Don't ask me to renegotiate my salary like Jeff Ireland, all right, when I do this spot in season.
He's out here if that happens. All right, Zach Gelb there.